Hey, I'm here today with the lovely Alan. Hello, Alan.
Hello, lovely Kieran.
Hey, my darling. Yes, we've decided to have another hangout. We're going to be talking about, well, things that you find out, but I just wanted to go across this picture. David Giamatti put it up. Your Bible says this, but you still go to church. The God who made the world and everything is in the Lord of heaven and earth and does not live in the temples built by humans. Acts 17:24. What do you make of that, Alan?
Yeah, that's I don't know what to say about that.
Oh, really? Oh, but I mean, you don't often see things like that, do you?
No,
But
I
it was
mean,
a bit like what you were talking about in your last hangout with us about how everything is allegory.
yeah,
That says, I don't reside in those churches, and everybody goes to church. So who are they praying to?
you'll never hear a pastor speak on that scripture either.
So who are they praying to then?
Well, they're praying to Amun Ra.
Is that a good person or not? I just wanted to know if people realise that. Is that a good person or not?
Well, it's Egyptian,
Right.
and in the Bible it says that Jesus is the Son of Man, right?
Hmm.
Well, in Egypt, thought he was the original Son of Man, 2,400 years before Jesus.
Okay, then I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was quite a big statement, really. If I'm not in those churches. So what are we going to church for? Why is it we have
The
this
ritual.
Bible where they cut bits of it out and just play with it how they want?
Yeah, when you go to the original text, Greek and Latin, and you read the verse in Matthew about Jesus being the Christ, the Messiah, the translators left out a little word. Uk is the word, and it means not. So in the verse when it's talking about Jesus being the Messiah, the Christ, the translators left out the word uk, which is not. So the verse really reads that Jesus is not the Christ, not the Messiah.
Oh dear.
And that's in the Greek and Latin original before translation.
Wow. Yes. That doesn't mean we don't pray to the right God in ourselves and stuff, because that's
Right?
what I think. I think we're still praying to the right person, but when we go out, they're telling us it's somebody and we're praying to the wrong one. That way.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Damn. He gave me a video last year. Oh, Mr. Richard Burke. That's right. Oh, his name went out of my brain. I could hear his voice, but I couldn't see his face. He gave me some videos to say that we were praying to the wrong God.
Uh-huh.
But I think that, I've never really been into the Bible and gone to church that much. So when I pray, that whoever it is, it's the real one.
What I'm thinking is, I don't even think there is one.
Don't you? Oh dear. We're just praying to ourselves, are we?
I think it's all within us. It's all within us.
Does that mean there's no afterlife then?
That's a good question, because what can be on the other side? I mean, if you go to a place they talk about heaven and all you do is play a harp and worship this so-called God every day, But that'd get pretty boring, wouldn't it?
I never hear a medium. I never hear a medium say we come back. You never hear a medium saying, your great uncle Joseph is now your son. You never hear them say they come back into the families. But that doesn't mean we don't have a soul family and so forth. Right. I mean, we have, like, for instance, Gillian and Amy, I feel, and you, and Richard Burke, and, many, James, many people I've got this connection with. Gary, so forth. We feel we've got a connection with each other, but I don't know. Yeah, should we whiz on to this other bit? Because what you really want to talk? Because I just wanted that mentioned. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of the heaven and the earth, and does not live in the temples built by human hands. Acts 17.
I like that verse.
Yeah, it's well, it'll be at the beginning of this video because it's a picture on here. But I hate the lies and the fact that we're so deceived, and the fact that it wasn't that. I mean, when I've put this video out about Hitler, about Germany, loads of people are going, "Oh yes," and they've got these comments, and I'm thinking, well, I don't remember loads of people talking and having this stuff before. Now everybody knows the answers, but it took me and Gillian ages to research and go through because. Well, it looked like Germany was, and then it didn't, and then it did, and then we realised that the Reichs were actually the Roman empires. They're just the same thing. And so all the roads didn't lead to Rome, they led to Germany. So we thought that was just absolutely bizarre. That bit I just find really crazy that they've lied so much. And I was saying to you before we went on air, it's really crazy how Italy's taking all the credit. Yeah, all roads lead to Rome. Yeah, we're the ones. When actually they were run by Germany.
Yeah.
So I think that's really crazy. Anyway, over to the subject we're going to talk about now. Ding! There he is. He's on the screen. Jesus! So, Alan, off you go then. Go on then, off you go. What do you want to say about this then? Because you talk about this quite a lot, don't you?
Well, what I really think about Jesus is that he's just a concept in the mind to get you to be a good person.
Can I just say one thing before you get going? I read a medium book. It was called The Winds of Change. And what the book said was, because obviously churches don't like mediums, do they? They stay away from all those and everything. But the medium said, in the book it said, Jesus, now I've changed that part of it in my mind, but Jesus came here to be more like him. The whole point of having him was so that we could be more like him, and all the churches do is make sure you can never, ever be anything like him.
Right.
Which I find incredible. He's put on no, you can't touch him, you can't be anything like him. But that was the whole point. So although it's not quite what you're saying, it's almost what you're saying.
Yeah, they want you to feel bad. They want you to bow your head. They want you to think that you're dirty, filthy, and you need this Jesus.
Yeah, that is the thing I find really weird, that people need something else so they can get to God, when actually you can do it all yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do it yourself, but in that world, the church world, you always need that book and Jesus to do it, but you don't. Do you?
No.
And what did you say to me before we came on air? You need to find whatever this is in yourself.
Yeah.
And they try to always make sure that we find it externally when actually we have to find it internally. Oh dear, excuse me, sneezing.
Yeah, they want a hero. They want an idol.
Yeah, this picture of Jesus, he's got biceps on him. I've never seen that one before. And they're cuddling up to him while he's going, "Hey, I'm like a boxer." We need a hero.
Yeah.
So what else have you got to say then, Alan? We've only done 10 minutes so far.
Well, there's another funny scripture. Jesus says, many will come in my name, saying, I, Jesus, am the Christ, and deceive many.
We have that nearly every day of our lives, don't we, with politics and stuff like that. They all think that they're gods and Jesuses and whatever it is, and they ruin it. They're ruining everything.
Yeah, these translation Bibles that we're reading from are a big deception, because they add words and they take away words from the original.
Yes, I must admit, with Nigel, we did do that when we did a couple of hangouts together, and we were looking, like he was showing that they'd not translated it properly. And when you look at the words, like in the book, they all mean different things. Like, for instance, a soul is lifeless. You need the spirit to make the soul work. And so basically that's why we got to the concept that those that have got a soul and a spirit are alive, but those that just have the soul are dead inside.
Right, like where it says in the Old Testament, it says that God is not a man, he's a spirit.
Yeah, because in our mind we have, if we see Jesus as a man, we've got this concept that God is a man, but I just said he must be a big man then if he could make all this. But do you think this is all made to make us feel better? Because, I know people don't like talking about this subject. We're all going to die in the end.
Yeah, they give you this Bible, the stories, this Jesus, so that you can feel good and not worry about what's going to happen when you die.
Mind you, we are learning, aren't we, Alan, that it's like hell here, or at least purgatory, so it might be better if we moved on.
Yeah.
I must admit, I don't like it here, but I do love my grandchildren, so I don't really want to go for as long as possible, because I love them to pieces. They're our hope, as the little children are our hope. But I mean, to how I thought things were, I just think it's so ugly here.
Well, we're supposed to make heaven on earth, but they're making hell.
Or was it always that way? We've got no proof that Tartaria was a happy place.
Right.
Even though it was obviously a bit more magnificent.
It could have been total slavery.
Yeah. We could have just been slaves forever.
And when you look at the cube and the story about the New Jerusalem city that comes down out of heaven, that could be another total enslavery, because now you're enslaved in this cube city. I think I don't know, the agenda is to transhumanize us.
Yes, that's definitely going on. Definitely, that's happening.
Yeah, they're trying to steal our energy soul.
Yeah.
And it imprison us forever.
What, in a snow globe? I do agree with you on that one. Yeah. But they don't want us waking up either, do they? And realising. I mean, I think that's partly why now has happened, because they like to run their stories and whatever it is they like to play on. But a lot of people were waking up, and like I didn't go, but at the weekend, many people went marching for freedom. So they don't realise how many people have woken up because they're trying to cover it up all the time and pretend it's not happening when it is.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible to twist it, though, isn't it? I mean, you know, we're not really here for that long, and you know, like it's only when you start getting older, you know, like our children are a bit younger, and you can concentrate a bit more on things that you like. Because when you've got kids, you can't. You realise that nothing you've been told is the truth.
No.
But I mean, you like looking up all this stuff, don't you, Alan?
Yeah.
You love finding all the little niches and glitches, don't you?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're saying with the Bible that most of it is allegory. It's not real. It was meant for you to... It was a self-help book, basically.
Right.
Lots of people take every word out of this book and think that it's real.
I think right here, right now, where we're at, this is the real physical world where we can have consciousness on everything. The other side, I think, is dead.
What do you mean by that? Because, you know, here we're individuals, aren't we, doing that conscious experience?
In the Bible, it says that the Old Testament God is a God of the living, not of the dead.
So why do we come here to not stay here then? Surely it'd be better if we came here to stay.
To have consciousness.
But we can only have it for so long. It's just you know, in the scheme of how long your soul your spirit lives, this is just a blip. I mean, you know, like I did have this strong, you know, until I got into all this, I had this strong connection with somewhere to do with Cleopatra, the 1920s, Victorian times, like cowboy and Indian, but I'm not saying we were cowboys and Indians, but somewhere in the late 1800s, then the 1920s, and then I'm here in the 1960s. And the Whig time as well. Like, I've had these things where I just feel I've got these connections with these times. But it couldn't have been real.
Right.
And then, you know, like I was trying to, on the computer last night, bring up, it's called The Island with Ewan McGregor. Have you heard of that film?
No.
Basically, he's been made, and he, you know, first of all, you meet him, he's in this building with these people, and what it was is he gets flashbacks, and then, you know, he's talking, like, they have people they can go and talk to, but in it, he's just not sure what's going on, and then I think he finds a bit of information, and he realises there's another one of him, so he goes to visit the other one, and the other one, he's nice, and whatever. The other one's quite arrogant and horrible, but it's got this life where he's a multi-millionaire, got this boat. And then he finds out that he is he's been made because he's the clone of the other one. So if the other one becomes ill, I mean, I must admit, just say, for instance, they want to take something like your heart or your brain, you're gone, aren't you? But I wonder what happens if they said, right, well, we need your right arm or your left arm. But anyway, he was made to be the backup in case the other person was ill. So people have paid for these people to be made. Anyway, what it is there's thousands of them down there in this building, and eventually he kills the person who is him, the carbon copy of him, and the cats are fighting outside now. And then he goes back and he frees everybody, and then he goes and lives the life, because nobody knows the difference between him and the person he's killed. So he goes and has his life. But I mean, I know that's a bit long-winded and it's taken me a few minutes to explain it, but in a sense, we're kind of living in something like that. That's what we're living in. I'm not saying that we've been made because we belong, you know, there's another clone and we're a clone for someone else, but the whole concept of an unreal life, that's what it's all about. That's what we're living in, isn't it? Because we're just finding out that nothing's real.
I feel we're kind of like imprisoned in our body which is our kingdom, you know, we're like a genie in a bottle that can't get out.
I had a feeling years ago that I know what true love is, and I understand that we levitated. I've this big thing about levitation. Because we could move, that's us moving around, doing, you know, like, because we could levitate, which we can't do here. I mean, in your mind you can do it, but it's very difficult in a body form to levitate, isn't it? On your own. But we used to, you know, where we've come from, I knew what real love was, and we levitated and things. And a lot of people have said the same thing. I understand that when I say that.
Also with mind telepathy.
Yes, that's the other thing. Telepathic. Yeah, we were telepathic.
Yeah.
Which I think we are, but I don't think we don't use that. We don't use it really in our life, but I think we are a bit telepathic. I am. I feel people. Well, I feel people.
I watched this one guy the other day, and he was talking about bending spoons. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, Uri Gilly. He did a lot of that here.
Yeah. He said it took him like a week or two, but he was able to bend these spoons with his mind.
That's quite incredible, isn't it? Because that's a mind thought on something that's solid.
Yep.
So what else did you want to say then? Because obviously we talked the other day, and then you said you'd go and write some notes down because you're into all this. But when we get on a microphone, you go, don't you? You suddenly stop. But so what else are we talking about? Because Alan's a very wise person and has a lot to say, don't you, darling?
Yeah.
You do.
If I'm listening to some video or something, you know, and the guy's talking, that's when all my deep thoughts come to my head. And all the questions when you're listening to someone speak, you know.
Do you, because you've got quite long hair, haven't you? Do you think that long hair is like an antenna?
I don't know. I've never really experienced anything that could give me any answer on that.
Right.
I just know that I feel better if my hair is not cut. Because I like long hair. I don't like...
Yeah, you're a long-haired person, aren't you, Alan?
I could never walk around the street with a short haircut. I think I'd look like a dork.
Okay, can I ask you, why do you think that they would use Jesus? Like, you know, like in the time he was born, there was no J's, so there's that point to it. And then why would they use him and make him like, you know, I'm looking at it now, you know, if he was Turkish and Jewish, he wouldn't look like any of these pictures. He'd be much darker.
No.
I mean, there hasn't got blonde hair on this one, but you know, they love to give Jesus with blonde hair. I mean, I understand that Jesus is not who you want him to be in that sense, but he fits. It doesn't matter, you know, he can be blonde because you've got to find it in yourself, and if he's blonde, he's blonde. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? He's not blonde in these pictures, but usually they have him blonde.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been. He'd have been dark skinned, dark haired. I love it. Peter, I've got a picture of, is it Robert Powell? Peter Powell, can't remember what his name is. This one here. And he's got a frightfully accent. He wouldn't have had a British accent either.
Now, see, the Egyptians were black. And Moses, you know, his Egyptian mother, found him in a basket floating in the water, you know. And so he must have been black like the Egyptians, because they say the Hebrews were the Egyptians.
Well, his mother was Turkish, but I mean, Turkish people are still very dark-skinned and dark-haired, so it's the same thing. But his mother was Turkish.
And the thing with the J letter you know, they really messed up in their story by giving us this Jesus when the letter J is only 500 years old. And they try to say, well, there's no name under heaven but Jesus, when, well, there was no J, so there was no Jesus.
The only thing that I did with Nigel was that he was a he's us. He's a he's us. Which would then fall into what
You
you're
ever
saying.
heard of Justin? You ever heard of Justin Martyr?
No.
It was back in the first century, whatever. But he was saying that this Jesus we give you is no different than the sons of Jupiter. The very first Christian fathers, they knew that it was a myth story, but over the years, you know, they switched that myth added it into the world history as
Fact.
supposed to be, you know, fact, yeah. And all these evidence of Tacitus and Josephus and all these others have already been proven that they were forged by the Christian fathers of the early years to get this it's all a well-dressed lie.
Right. Yeah, I've just come across this picture on the internet. It says, does Jesus have a twin? What do you make of that, Alan?
I'd have to see who it's done by and what they got to say about it.
It says by the Daily Beast. It's alimony. A lost gospel has triggered a major debate. Some Christians have no problem with the idea that Jesus had siblings, but is it possible he had a twin? It was done on the 7th of February 2021. Let me just read it down. It says, oh, it doesn't like something. Hang on. What were you saying, Alan?
I said if there isn't any tangible, concrete evidence to support it, I would say it's just another hoax.
Right, I'm going to read it. In the late 19th century, British archaeologists Grenfell and Hunt were excavating an ancient trash heap, near Oxy, wherever that is in Egypt, when a boy discovered a fragment, and that included the saying of Jesus. The discovery made headlines all over the world, and so blah, blah, blah. What do you reckon of that then? And it's about, does Jesus have a twin?
Yeah, I would just say it's not believable because Jesus is just a myth. He never existed. He's just a concept in the mind.
Yeah, anyway, we're going off this one, Alan. Right, we've decided to leave the picture of Jesus up while Alan talks about this one.
Yeah, this lady was needing to make money, and so she got pregnant, and she was looking to sell her baby. And I guess it's the Muslim, the Islam over there that do this because it's not against the law for them to having sex with young children from the age from 4 years of age and on.
Oh.
And they go to these they go to these brothels. They're raised from like 3 to 4 years in a brothel till they're like 12, and then they go to a much higher classified brothel after that.
Great. Yeah, carry on.
They never get to go to school. They're always watched.
Right.
They're drugged up.
Nice. Sounds really good, doesn't it?
And you think, would you want to be born into something like that?
No, but what's behind closed doors gets left behind closed doors, doesn't it?
Yeah, and just think of all the individuals
Yeah, I found a
that's
picture,
gone through.
sorry. It says, what did Jesus really look like? Well, if he was going to exist, he'd have looked more like that man there.
Yeah, I've seen some videos on that also.
No way
Where
would he
they
have looked like this
reconstruct.
angelic angel, like with blonde hair, or, you know, some of the ways they depict him like this one. He'd have looked more like this one over here, barbarian-like.
Mm-hmm.
What do they want? They want you looking at him and thinking that you look like this one, when he probably looked more like that if he existed.
Oh yeah, they want to make him look like he's a superstar, you know, real
A
good
super stud.
looking. But,
He's
in the Bible it says he's just a regular looking man, nothing spectacular.
yeah, a super stud they want to make him.
Mm-hmm.
Or basically, they want to make him look like he's more an angel.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good. I just think, like, those people are so into religion, and look what they're doing. It's worse than anything here, probably.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm not in, I don't know.
Even when people talk about angels and stuff like that, I think to myself, I don't even think there's even any angels. I don't even believe it.
Not even angels.
No. It's all imaginary in the mind. Because man has imagined all this stuff. Why else would they say they needed to be inspired to write these books? It's all happening in the mind, and then they're writing about it.
Yeah, I'm just sorry, just turn the page over. It's hard to put your mind on it, but then we don't live in a very good place, do we? The whole of where we live is a lie, so...
Yeah, and this is the only story we get.
Yeah, we just get the lie that they want to give us. I've got a picture here. I'm gonna put it up, and basically, it's got oh, hang on a second, Alan. Hang on. Picture here of Jesus. It's got angels around him. And you don't think they were real?
No. No, the people in the church, they're worshiping a book, an idea, a concept of the mind, and some ideology. There's no tangible, concrete evidence to support any of it.
No. I was going to put the cross one up. So what's your making of the cross, then?
It's a symbol of death. It's a symbol of the cube. It's Pandora's box opened up. Man created the idea of Pandora's box of evil and made it into a box, which is opened up is a cross.
There's two. I was watching Lavetta. Obviously, I used a little bit of her video. And she was saying that there's a crisscross and a cross, and the crisscross is like an X, and then there's a cross. There's all different crosses.
Yeah, it's the cross. It's the cross of the equinox.
Well, that's something different, isn't it? That's to do with weather.
It's all about the S-U-N in the sky.
Yeah, but that's to do with weather, isn't it? The equinox.
Yep. And you got the Western philosophy and the Eastern philosophy of astrology and the zodiac and the months of the year.
Asking you though, when we look at Jesus up on the cross, he has his hands, a nail through his hand. Would that nail have held him up there like that? Would it have ripped through his hand?
No, it would rip right through. See, I was listening to a guy the other day. He said there's no place in the Bible that says that Jesus was nailed to a cross. it says he was hung.
Right. What, hung from a cross or hung?
A tree, a pole, a tree.
Isn't that what happened to Judas Iscariot then? He was hung, wasn't he? Hung himself.
Well, there's a couple different stories in the Bible about that. One says he hung himself, and some about one that he threw himself over a cliff.
Because he betrayed Jesus. So hard to put it all together, though, isn't it? But we know that they've lied to us.
Yeah.
Big time, as per usual.
Yeah, they want you to believe the Bible stories, so you go to that church and you give your money, pay your tithing. It's tax.
What, Jesus is all about tax, then? He's a tax man.
Yeah. Yep.
Jesus the tax man.
Yeah. What would God? What if money is the root of all evil? What does God need money for?
I have to say that I think it was the way that they used to get people, but people today aren't into this,
Right.
are they?
Well,
I mean, I know people are waking up and
realizing
like a connection to God, but differently. But like what I think is that when they brought churches in about 200 years ago, a lot of the people worked then for the churches on their land, and so they had to go to church because they were working for the churches, and that's why they went to church, not because they wanted to. They went because it was part of their job, really. And churches have only been here for probably about 200 years, from where you can find tombstones which say the date on it, which will be 1860, 1870. That's when churches turned up.
Yeah, because you can't go much further back in history.
No.
With the graveyard.
Before that, they were pagan buildings. So this whole thing about Jesus, this whole thing has only been here for a couple of 100 years.
Yeah.
Look how they tried to control us, Alan. With all this information.
They added like 1,000 years to history with the J letter. When the J letter come into the alphabet, they added 1,000 years.
Yeah, because that J is on a lot of the tombstones.
Yeah, and then you got the I in front of the date. Like, you'll have an I and a 1 and a 4 and a 7.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's reading 1145 when it's actually 145.
Yeah, but we don't know if there's anything before it. But that's what we've come to the conclusion. We've thought the same ourselves. Like, for instance, here, look at Jesus here.
It's a funny mystery of how
anyway, yeah.
How old it is. When you look at it, when you look at the rock fountains and all the mud flood of the rocks of the giants, of the giant animals, and so you wonder what really took place in the past.
Do you know what? In one sense, we're in a realm of delusion as it is. It's fake here. Oh, making pictures of turn. It's fake here, isn't it? This is a fake place.
Some kind of computer simulation.
Yeah. So this is what they've been doing to us: is giving us a fake life. The sun is Jesus is the sun in the sky. Do you believe that one?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, my friend Jesse did a video yesterday on sun gazing. He was watching the sun go down. And it reminds me of last year when I was out in the afternoon one sunny day. and I was doing shrooms,
Right.
and looking out at the sun going down, I seen a pentagram right inside of the sun.
Right. I think I've seen that when it's like slowing footage down and looking at it up in the sky. I see funny things going on. But how weird to tell people that we're living in a simulation, but we're not, but we are, but we're not.
Uh-huh. Well, our bodies and mind is a computer.
Yeah, because we've got silicon even in our skin, haven't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of, I've said this quite a lot lately, it just reminds me of the film Jacob's Ladder. You know, we were with this soldier, he was a super soldier, and basically they'd shot each other through, because the Americans, he's a soldier, and the Americans wanted him to use this drug, but what happens is that they kill each other instead, and you're with the soldier while he's dying. But while he's dying, he has a couple of lives, and at the time I was so confused. But basically, I think that's what's going on. But we're in something like Jacob's Ladder with the mind thing. I mean, it's quite weird, isn't it, to have this? You know, like you're brought up thinking Jesus, the church, rah rah, and as we've got older, we've changed our minds.
Right.
It was easier before, though, wasn't it? I'm sorry, it was. We knew what everything was, but now we've questioned everything.
It gets me how some people can wake up to that, but yet others can't.
You have to remain with an open mind and heart, because we don't still know everything. We don't. Every day we're finding out. I mean, like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before with Gillian? It was, what do you mean Germany was the Holy Roman Empire? We're still finding stuff out. We haven't quite got, I'm sure there's more.
Uh-huh.
But now our history's changed and what we think. I mean, you just have to remain open, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, like, just because, I mean, with Alan, right, I might not necessarily believe or understand every single thing you say, but I have to remain open and listen to what you say. I just do. That's the way I am. I'm open to listening to what it's all about, because, you know, over the months, like when, if you like, for instance, I told you Richard Burke when he said that we were praying to the wrong God. And I was like, what? And then I watched it. And then other people started sending me posts a bit like that. And you think, oh, there's got to be some truth in this then. And, you know, we actually know that what they've made for us isn't true, is it? It's not real and true. Do you embrace it? You're happy about it, though, aren't you? You like finding more and more information, don't you? You like finding as much information as you can.
Yeah, I like finding all the dirt.
Yeah. Do you find that people like kind of go against you for that, or they embrace you for it?
Well, Christians do.
What go against
Christians go. They don't want to hear anything bad about what they believe in, you know. They can't accept it.
Well, one thing that I don't get is that churches don't particularly like astrology, but, you know, if he was a real person, he'd have been into astrology. And astrology seems to be playing a great big effect on us here. So, yeah.
Well, you know, Jesus said about Alpha and Omega, you know, he was the beginning and the last, and that's astrology, that's the zodiac, and that's the SUN going into the houses of the zodiac. Constantine, he dedicated Sunday to the S-U-N, not the S-O-N. And all these people that are going to church on Sunday, Sunday is the mark of authority to the Catholic faith, to their sun god. The S-U-N, they're sun worshippers.
Mind you, when I was going through a really, really tough part of my life, when I was not happy, a couple of arguments happened, the people arguing with me, but I wasn't really arguing with them. They were the ones not happy. I was really upset. When I went to bed that night, this voice said to me, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And I'm not into the Bible, but I knew it had come from the Bible, and I just had to find where it was, because then I didn't realise, and then I realised, he was on the cross when he said that.
Yep.
And I thought that was really bizarre. Honestly, it was like there was someone standing next to me and said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do."
Yeah, because they're all believing a lie.
Yeah. So many little words, but such a powerful statement. Forgive them, for they don't know what they do. They don't know what they do, yeah. I bet that still fits for today, because most people don't know what they do. You know, I've had my own fair share of grief and whatever it is in the last, year with my family, with the boyfriend. They just don't know what they do. And they don't care either, which is the saddest part, but hey-ho. Don't know what they do. I do feel that the more awake people become, they're the prosecuted now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just looking at pictures. So Jesus has to rise within you.
Yes.
That was
that's the hope of glory that the Christ manifested in us. That Christ consciousness, to overpower the evil, because we have that dual nature of good and evil. We know we've taken the bite of the apple of knowing good and evil.
That's what you said before we started the hangout, that people have to realise that it's within themselves.
Yeah, you see, Jesus, what was I going to say? He is the substitute in place of you on the cross. He's the substitute.
Is that so we can bear dying better? Is that the whole point? So
Jesus is the Antichrist. He's the substitute. Because you're the true Christ. We all are.
But is that so that it makes dying easier? You can put brandish those words around because it makes it easier. But really, we don't talk about dying and all that enough, do we? It's a taboo subject.
It's like, do they want to die believing a lie that makes them feel good? Or do you want to die knowing the truth?
So, the next picture I've got here, Jesus died for me. He didn't, did he?
No. Because if he died for you, why do you have to die? Why do you have to shed your blood then?
Well, we die in the end from here, don't we? Because we don't stay here. But
so if we're going to
die for us, did he?
We don't need anybody dying for us, because we're going to die. I mean, if he conquered death, then why are we dying?
Very true, yes. Very, very apt words there. Thank you.
And if he rose from the grave in less than 3 days, why do we have to stay dead till the very, very, very end? I mean, to have that kind of faith, to believe that stuff with no evidence, you have no ticket stubs saying you got a free ticket into heaven. You know, you got no receipt. He ain't saved you yet. You're not dead, so you don't know if it's true or not. I mean, a person can psych himself out to believe anything he wants to believe. You know, a person say, oh, I trust as Jesus. Or another one can say, well, I just trust that when I die, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's a bit like I read this book, Healing of the Emotions. The whole point about being here is to let go of everything because you're going home, and home's where we've come from. But, you know, we're taught to worry, and we worry. We should just love each other in between and get on. We can only get on with it, can't we? And, you know, time goes very fast, doesn't it? When you get to our age, well, we're not even that old, but we're getting older. We realise time goes very quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah. It seems the older we get, the years go much faster.
Yeah. When you're a kid and you go, oh, an hour, and now you go, an hour's gone like a clicking of fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a part of getting older. Time goes faster the older you are. Also, you know, when you're younger, you might be doing so many things, it fills up that day. When you get older, you might be sitting there for an hour thinking about things, and days go a lot slower. I mean, they go faster and slower at the same time. But, you know, when you've got loads on, everything's so much, oh, well, I went here, I did this, you've got so many things to fill, but as you get older, you don't go out as much.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at loads of crosses at the moment, but it brought up a couple of good questions, which obviously we've answered, or you've answered. Yeah, I mean, how many of us, I don't know. The history of Good Friday, even that's not true, is it? He wasn't born in the times that they said, so that's not true. I just can't believe a book when there's 60-odd books missing. I think those 60-odd books would have changed it around a bit and would have then made it something completely different.
Have you noticed how people are saying that we're in the age of Aquarius?
Right.
Well, I did a little bit of research yesterday, and I was finding out that that's Western philosophy, and Eastern philosophy is different. And because of the calendar we go by and astrology we go by, but actually the sun is still rising in Pisces for another 200 to 400 years. And if they added, like I say, if they added that 1,000 years to history, well, then we're no near going into Aquarius yet.
So why have they done that then? Everybody's pushing for the fact that we're going into the age of Aquarius. So what does that mean then?
Well, I don't know. It means that the age of Aquarius, you know, we're coming out of Pisces. But
hang on a second, Alan.
If that's...
Yeah, just found it says that it started in 1962, but you're saying it hasn't. Oh. Yeah, so basically, I've got it up. It says, oh, that my daughter's waiting to go out. Now the dog's whinging. I want to go. February the 4th, 1962. It says it started. I mean, that's a long time ago. That's before I was born. What do you make of that then?
Yeah, you're cutting out a lot.
Sorry, I'll say it again. It said...
Is that a Western philosophy or...
That's Wikipedia. Floss! It's
Wikipedia. You're cutting in and out.
Should I call you back?
You're cutting in and out.
It's not correct unless we have some, you know, internet problem, is it? We have to have an internet problem if we're having a hangout. Anyway, it says February 4th, 1962, and that's Wikipedia.
Okay.
Says, heralded by the alignment of first 6 planets, the Sun, the Moon, and the constellation Aquarius. So that put us into the age of Aquarius. That's what they're saying. So what was the answer again then? We have not got to the age of Aquarius yet.
No. It's still rising in Pisces.
Right. For all those people who believe that we're in the age of Pisces, we're Aquarius, we're still in the age of Pisces.
Yep.
Says here, the age
There's
of Aquarius.
Another 200 to 400 years.
The age of Aquarius in astrology is either the current or forthcoming. Oh look, the current or forthcoming astrological age, depending on the method of calculation. Astrologers maintain that an astrological age is the product of the Earth's slow, well, we're not going to, that's to do with rotation, of 160 years on average. But we're not rotating, so that's a load of rubbish. But 1962. Is 2020 the age of Aquarius? Look. In December 2020, we're at the beginning of the new age. So that changed. That said 1962. This one says 2020. Search for age of Aquarius. What is the age of Aquarius? When was the last age of Aquarius? Why were the 60s called the age of Aquarius? Let's have a look. Why were the age... let's have a look. Hippies. That really answers it, doesn't it? So you don't think we got there that yet? You don't think we're in the age of Aquarius yet?
That's one aspect. That's one aspect of it. I don't know. I'm not positive of anything.
Well, we've done practically an hour now, and our internet's just started playing up. Do you think this is a good time to finish this hangout?
Okay.
Well, I've really enjoyed it, Alan. Alan's always a master at what he does, aren't you, Alan?
Try to be.
Yeah, you know, you. I know you might come across as a little bit shy on the hangout, but you talk loads, don't you, when you get going? But I very much appreciate all your wisdom and help. Thank you so much, Alan. And a lot of people will know this, and some people it'll be a shock to, won't it?
Yeah.
But nothing is what they tell us it is in the first place, is it?
No.
Thank you so much for your time, Alan. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you too, Karen.
Oh, my darling. Mwah.